Hello, friends. It is Nick, 1/3 of the Gridiron podcast, and the guy who's in charge of editing the show. We do not have a video version of the show this week. My apologies. But as you'll see, Katie had some technical difficulties while doing her part of the show on the road. So didn't get a final product that was worth posting. So instead, here's the audio. Enjoy. And thanks again for listening.
Pressure is going to be added to these guys because they are going to be in the final stretch as we say goodbye to Katie one more time.
I'm glad you're updating this. We could just proceed. Oh, there she is. Oh, you just missed it. Ah, she came back. Katie, no. Why did you leave? Oh, no. It was perfect.
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
She's looking repeatedly. She's still looking. Now I feel like I'm in the zoo.
I can't make this up.
Sean, you must be really attractive from the back of your head there. I mean, she held that stare in for a while. Wow.
That was a linger. I would consider that a linger.
Linger, man. Linger.
And speaking of getting the party started.
For the victory lap, though. They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 77 of the Gridiron Podcast. If you're new here, welcome. We are the only podcast in the world that combines all the grid of Formula One and the iron of American football. Is it a weird marriage? Sure. But it's our weird marriage, and it seems to be working out just fine. Our two loves are Formula One and football, so we talk about it each and every week here on the Gridiron Podcast. As always, I'm Sean Barie, and joining me, holding down the fort up in the land, the bald behemoth, flexing on the haters, Nick Shook.
Sean, are you in like a lair right now? Like you look like a villain in a like buddy comedy movie. You look like Mr. Evil. If Mr. Evil was in a sound booth at work, it's worse now.
Not doctor, but mister.
Yeah, doctor.
I didn't even finish. I didn't even finish my degree.
My God, that's the type of day I've had.
If I change the lighting up, do I look more?
You look more doctorish and less mister. Yeah.
How about that?
God,
that better?
I would like to scratch this entire
yellow?
start just because of that. I've literally seen all those movies. What an idiot I am.
That's Nick's introduction to this podcast, and then you heard the other voice on this. It is our Canadian queen holding down the fort, not in Kimberley, British Columbia, but in Vancouver, British Columbia tonight. She's house sitting. It's Katie Caldwell. How you doing, Katie?
Great. For those watching, I'm sorry my pixels have the same as those of a potato, but hopefully the sound is okay.
It's the second time you've referenced a potato. You called your camera a potato, which I didn't know. Cameras. Oh, is it made by Apple? Is it made by Google?
But clearly
the
this is
Apple
not.
Potato phone.
I'm realizing in real time how much easier it is to broadcast from a home studio than to take the show on the road. This has been a learning curve for me, this situation.
That's okay. We're more of an audio medium anyway, but if you are watching, thanks. You can watch us each and every week on Twitch and YouTube. Just search for Nick Shook on Twitch. What's your handle, Nick?
The Nick Shook. Branding consistent on all platforms except the Talk, because the Talk won't let me change my username, even though it says it's gone through. Don't get me started.
This guy, the ego on him. The
You know
Nick
the
Shook.
story, Sean. If that
Nick Shook.
pastor in Indiana would have just given me at Nick Shook on Twitter in 2011, this would never exist. But he didn't, and then he blocked me, and then he got his account suspended. For what? Who knows? You could probably surmise one way or the other. I don't know.
I have several working theories, but we're going to get into precisely none of them on
Now
this
you're
podcast.
blaming this on a man of the Lord, Nick?
Sure.
I'm actually cool. That was fine.
We've got a lot to get to in this podcast. We're coming off the Hungarian. There I go again with Hungarian. Why can't I say Hungarian? Hungarian. We're coming off the Hungarian Grand Prix. I think it's because I want to say Hungarian Grand Prix, just to keep all the syllables syllabic together. Anyway, coming off the Hungarian Grand Prix, Lando Norris P1, Oscar Piastri P2, George Russell P3. We will get into that race and the many dramas surrounding it. A bit of a snoozer, but if you're going to give me a snoozer of a race, I at least want some drama surrounding it. That's what we got this week. We're also going to continue our NFL division previews by previewing both of the West's divisions, the Weasts.
I thought you said Weast.
I did.
Patrick.
I did. I did. Let's jump right into it. We're going out to Budapest, which, as I learned a long time ago, is actually two different cities, Buda and Pest.
What?
How about
What?
that?
That can't be
I think
real.
it's one city now, but they used to be two cities, Buda and Pest, and, Budapest is born. So there we go. Learn something new every day. At the Hungaroring,
I think we should
Monaco,
fact-check this.
without the walls. No, we don't need to fact check this.
No,
This
we're
is
not. We're
a-
not in the world of spreading disinformation.
No,
but go ahead.
This is not a fact checking podcast. What do you think this is?
Ooh, that's
you know?
a good idea. We should become a fact-checking podcast where all we do is just fact-check claims. Who needs F1 in football? We're just
gonna.
the F
hey guys,
stands for fact.
F is for facts who do stuff together.
U is for. I got nothing. Brain's not working today. Continue.
Thanks. Let's go over to Hungary, guys. Lando Norris, P1, wins on strategy after starting P3. His championship rival and teammate Oscar Piastri finishes like a second behind him, not even. Then you got George Russell rounding off the rest of the podium. Charles Leclerc started on pole, which Katie's prediction from last week's pod was that Charles Leclerc was going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. God dang it. I'm going to have to take a shot every time I mispronounce Hungary. I'm going to be wasted by the end of this podcast.
Hungarian. Getting wasted at work, Sean.
Hungarian, red leather, yellow leather.
Hungarian.
Red leather, yellow leather.
That's a good way to get fired.
Hungarian.
Getting hammered at
The
work.
rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
And I'm always in pain. There we go. All right.
I'm in Spain without the S. You're in Pin? What? All right. So Hungary, yes. Lando Norris, followed by Oscar Piastri, followed by George Russell, and then Charles Leclerc. There was a lot to talk about this race. Let's just start off with McLaren because we have to. That's how we do it every week. There's so much just better than everyone else, but a bit surprising that Lando Norris was able to come from P3 to P1 in this race, especially considering he had a great start off the line and then fell back to P5 after he kind of lifted going into the first corner to, I think, avoid contact with Oscar, but he just lifted too much and he fell back into P5. But he was able to say, you know what? I can make these tires last in this first stint. He did. He got them to 40 laps. That impressed even his teammate Oscar Piastri because later on the radio, Oscar's pit wall said, yeah, Lando got to lap 40 on his mediums, and Oscar was like, I didn't even think that was possible. Either way, Lando puts on a set of hards, sails home. The rest is history. Had to do a lot of defending against Oscar in the final couple of laps. So the shoe coming from Belgium this time was on the other foot, as some might say. And this time it was Oscar chasing Lando.
The racing.
Either way, what'd you think of all that, guys?
The racing boot. Katie, chivalry is not dead.
No, Nick, you can go ahead first. I was a bit boring during this race. I was working, so I had it on, but my work was busier than I was hoping for, and a lot of my big takeaways from the race were just looking up and then hearing Ferrari melt down. So I did watch it, I had it on, but Nick, we'll start with you.
I actually thought Lando, in classic Lando fashion, had screwed himself in lap 1 because he made a great move off the line and then tried to duck down behind Oscar and kind of peek down the inside into turn 1, and then that aggressiveness cost him and he fell back, and cars are kind of going around him. And I'm like, oh no, he's cooked. And then I remembered he drives a McLaren, the fastest car on the grid. But a lot of credit is due to him for properly managing those tires, like you just mentioned. It was an interesting examination of strategy across the grid, but especially with McLaren and just how they can get the most out of their tires. I think that's what won him this race, was the fact that he could go long, and the fact that he drove really well. Me as a Max fan, I'm always paying close attention to Max. Disappointing result for him, finishing P9 with a grand total of, what you get at P9 points, which is not a lot. That's 2. But he also had some really masterful overtakes and just lost on strategy, and pretty much admitted after the first time he boxed that Red Bull had screwed him on strategy. So, you expect a McLaren 1-2. I'm glad it was this close. And when it comes to George Russell, great drive for him to finish on the podium. And a really, really disappointing day for Charles Leclerc, who was probably the most frustrated I've ever heard him be on the radio. I can't wait for Katie's insight on this, just because he was so freaking pissed off.
He was so pissed. Let me ask you a question, because I saw so many people on social media, Nick, talk about how Lando got the preferred strategy again. Zach Brown's, prodigal son got the preferred strategy, even though Oscar Piastri was ahead of him. I didn't take it that way. I think, Lando's strategy just was like, hey, we got to throw a Hail Mary here. Like, otherwise we're not even going to be in line possibly for the win at all. And they did. And Lando, like you said, to his credit, managed his tires extremely well. I didn't think that McLaren was giving Lando the preferred strategy because they still pitted Oscar Piastri first. So I just think Lando kind of made it work. And in the end, he knew, hey, if I'm going to win, this is what I'm going to have to do and hope for a little bit of luck. And he kind of got it as well. And it was kind of funny at the end of the race, too, or kind of towards the end. Oscar was asked about strategy. Do you want to go for the win or do you want to cover off Lando? And he said, I want to cover off Lando. Like, Oscar's not even thinking about the win. He's thinking about covering off his main rival, his team. He didn't care who won the race. He just wanted to beat Lando. Now, it ended up that Lando did win the race, so it was all, the same anyway. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Welcome back, Katie.
Bro, my laptop is fighting for its life right now. Are we all? I mean, I get it. But anyways, I might just be in and out intermittently. I'm just going to keep trying, but I'm
That's
here
okay.
for now.
We kept chugging along. Let's talk about Ferrari, though, because McLaren 1-2 again going into the summer break. We'll talk about them again in a second, but, this is a two-horse race for the end. I wouldn't be surprised if McLaren, went 1-2 the rest of the way. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I wouldn't be that surprised. But Ferrari, they started looking good. They had a good week in Belgium, and then all of a sudden they get to Hungary, and it's just... It's not feast, it's famine in Hungary. I mean, it was ugly because Charles Leclerc, he put it on pole. He put his car on pole when Katie predicted he was going to win that race. I thought she was crazy for a second. And then I'm like, oh, crap, I might have to eat a little bit of crow on the podcast this week because you can't pass really in Hungary. So Charles probably going to win this race. He did not because, as Nick mentioned, McLarens exist. But also, while strategy delivered Lando Norris a win, it really kind of effed over Charles. And also at the same time, Lewis Hamilton, nowhere to be found. I think at this moment, like, guys, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to see My Chemical Romance live in concert. My little emo heart is beating out of its chest, right? But I think Ferrari's kind of in their Gerard Way era because they are not okay. I promise.
No.
They are not okay. Lewis Hamilton, after finishing outside of the points, once again called himself absolutely useless. This is a 7-time, 8-time world champion who is so dejected by this team and his performances lately that he's calling himself useless. And then you have Charles, who is just on team radio roasting his team, saying, this is so incredibly frustrating. We've lost all competitiveness. You just have to listen to me. I would have found a different way managing those issues. This is all on a radio message, by the way. Now it's just undrivable. Unbelievable. It's a miracle if we even finish on the podium, which, of course, he did not.
Mind you, he said all these things while driving an F1 car around a track. That's pretty challenging, too. Technically challenging track. That's how angry he was. Just holding down the talk button.
Against... on one of the most winding circuits on the calendar, and he's just got his thumb on the radio button. Impressive, but also they had to tell him, like, Charles, shut up, basically.
Well, the best part about that too was the fact that he mentioned those issues, like speaking in code. These issues, you should take my input on these issues. You should listen to me on these issues, and we didn't really know exactly what the issues were.
Back to Ferrari's emo-ness. They're going to need a night out at an MCR concert after all of this. Just what do we make of all of this Ferrari just dysfunction at the moment? Now, Charles did ultimately walk back his radio message, but dude, it's already out there, man. It's out there. You said it. It's on international TV.
It's too late.
You said it.
The damage has been done.
We all saw it. We all heard it. What do we make of this dysfunction at Maranello?
I would like to pivot to Katie here for her input on this entire thing because she is the Lewis Hamilton fan. She is the one who has to go through this emotionally more than you and I, and hopefully we can get her response. I think that's a no.
We are checking.
We are checking.
We are checking.
Katie's potato internet as effective as Ferrari's strategy, and she's gone. It's a good time to turn to the chat real quick. Big B, who said, Katie, get off the McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Welcome back, Big B. That's a good one right there.
He also said, it's now the Sean and Shook pod.
What's more? You can never rely on the McDonald's Wi-Fi. Hey, maybe she should go to actually a Starbucks. That's at least a little bit better.
It's true. I agree. That is true.
Nick, let's default to you then. Ferrari, what do we make of this? Because obviously they have the car under them. Charles put it on pole, but Lewis just can't seem to get a hold of this. And then even when Charles starts on pole, just the strategy messes him up.
I was thinking about this while I was cleaning the kitchen the other day. That's, that in the shower when my deepest, most introspective moments arrive.
Stop flexing while you're talking, dude.
It's out of the shot. You can't see my arms anyway. I think about the Red Bull situation with how the car is so finely tuned to max, and I think about Lewis, and it's like he didn't have Mercedes. Their car sucked for him in his last year and a half, while George was still pulling better results because it seemed like they were tailoring it more toward George, knowing he'd be there beyond last year. Now I'm like, well, what the hell's the deal in Ferrari? Is this car tailored toward Leclerc? Why can't Lewis get anything out of this car? And he keeps saying he's
earlier
useless.
In the season, he was getting stuff out of it, right?
But
he had a sprint win in China. He was getting stuff out of this car.
But is it a case of our teams really tailoring certain cars toward one driver? And if that's the case, what does that say about Lewis Hamilton at this point in his career? I'm not trying to tarnish his reputation at all in what he's accomplished because he's one of the greatest drivers ever. But it just makes me think is this car really that difficult to drive for you as opposed to your teammate? It leaves a lot of questions to be answered. And it also just makes me think, damn, when he made that decision and announced he was going to Ferrari before the start of last season, talk about a decision that was regrettable. Oh man. It's just, and you're right. They have the car. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes sense to me anymore in F1 except that Sauber lingers in the periphery as a team that could just randomly be in the points and make things interesting, just depending on whether it's Bortoletto or it's Hulkenberg. And then the other truth I know is that McLaren has a good car. Everything else does not make sense to me on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, Gabrielle Bortoletto.
I love that.
Sorry, Katie, go ahead.
I love that for Gabby.
She's back.
For the one rare instance that I'm here, if I leave again, guys, I'm probably just going to bail and go drink some wine. But I love this for Gabby and I love this for Nico because they're both so lovable and I think they're both really good drivers. And they were just in a tractor of a vehicle. And now that we're starting to see it get better and they're actually in the mix for Q2, Q3. In the points. It's so much fun because they're just two guys that you're cheering for, but before it was it was hard to cheer for because their car was so bad. But I love that their car is getting slightly better it feels like every race they're kind of in the midfield, which is so fun.
Speaking on the same breath, hey, how about the Aston Martins? A P5, a P7 for Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. The Aston Martin kind of coming alive a little bit, I feel like. It is fun to see these teams fighting in the midfield. No team is pointless this year. You've got Alpine in last place, but they still have 20 points. 20 points, 2 years ago, would get you P7, or P6. It's insane just how many points these teams are scoring. Now, McLaren is obviously scoring so many more than these guys, but at the same time, it is fun to see that parity. Also, speaking of another emo team, anyone want to check in on Williams? Because, another. They started off the season so strong. Another bad weekend for Williams. Carlos Sainz P14, Alex Albon P15. I mean, I put them right up there with, Ferrari. The only thing that makes Ferrari more emo is that they have the potential and they're just not capitalizing on it.
It pains me because we enjoyed Williams' steady progression and improvement and just an interesting midfield team. And they've since faded into the back, and oftentimes I confuse them for Alpines on the grid when I'm watching races, and they're equally as irrelevant unless they're causing issues on the track. It makes me sad. It definitely makes me sad.
I feel like this season in particular, I was a bit worried that, especially in the second half, that we would be seeing teams already looking towards 2026 with the regulation changes. And Williams is a situation where I just don't really know if they are going to be focusing on even getting better this year, so I don't know if they will be competitive. And because this is such like a notable regulation change that we've been talking about for years,
right?
I just worry that we're not going to see a lot from them, which sucks. Like, I love Alex, I love Carlos, and they're both really, really, really good drivers. They're just in a trash car. I still think there's a lot of potential. Like, they've made so many changes. They brought in so many people behind the scenes, but they might be one of the teams that is solely looking ahead to 2026. I hope that's the situation and not that they're trying and they're trash.
Well, team principal James Vowles did say coming into this season he wants them to break everything because they'll never have this opportunity again. Break everything. I mean,
think
at the
he
same
meant it
time,
in a different way.
Yeah, like at the same time, I mean, if you want to break something, at least try and break it in the points.
All right,
maybe.
Fred Durst.
Ew, it's giving like tech bro to me. Ooh. Although I do love Daddy James, but I don't love tech bros.
Do you ever wake up and just want to break
James Vowles, Williams Tech Bro. Anyway, guys, we're going into the summer break, and we still have 10 races left. That actually kind of excites me a little bit because we're 14 races in. We have such a good championship battle. 9 points separates Oscar Piastri from the top and Lando Norris in P2. Lando and Oscar long way clear of Max Verstappen, who is now staying at Red Bull, confirmed by Katie. Enjoy your wine. Max Verstappen now confirmed to be staying at Red Bull for 2026 because he could not activate that clause in his contract to leave early because he was still in P3. So, Nick, I mean, we're going into the summer break. We got like 3 weeks here, no cars, can't touch the cars even for 2 weeks, 14 consecutive days. What are the storylines as we head into the summer break here? Obviously, it's McLaren, yes, but what do you think?
What are the storylines? Well, the Max intrigue, which propelled the news machine for so many weeks, is now dead. I would like to look back at this most recent race real quick just for some insight because remember how we were talking about how, oh man, honestly, like, I can't believe that they gave Liam Lawson the seat at Red Bull. They should replace him with Yuki, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at that. Liam Lawson finishes ahead of Max Verstappen in a race, and Yuki Tsunoda is nowhere to be found. So we have to continue to track the second driver situation at Red Bull just because of their history of demoting and dumping drivers in the middle of the season. They've already done it once this year.
Right.
I don't really know where else they turn from here, but we have to continue to monitor that. Mercedes lurks as a team that's been kind of fun to watch, although Kimi Antonelli has struggled mightily over the last month or so, but George Russell keeps putting together good races.
He got P10. This was his first points of the European calendar. Katie's back. She didn't go right for the wine.
Oh, I thought she was going straight for the wine.
Yeah.
I said
Let
so
me
many
tell you
swear
what the wine
words
do.
that will be heard in my ISO that I forgot was recording. I'm fighting for my life over here. This will probably be like, I can't keep just popping in and out. I'll have the sorted for next week.
We love it. This is adding so much to the pod. Katie, what are you looking forward to in the summer break? What are the storylines you're keeping your eye on before you leave again?
Being a new Ferrari fan, I'm looking forward to having a break from having to watch Formula One.
She sounds like
Formula
a Browns
One fan.
This for me.
She's a
Formula
Browns
One
fan.
is like, I'm just excited not to watch Formula One. Thank God.
I'm excited for a peaceful Sunday where I don't have to have my heart shattered again.
Well,
I just knew this would happen.
the Seahawks are coming, Katie. Don't forget about that.
Yeah. Great. Love that for me too. In case I get cut off before NFL, I have the Seahawks going 9-8. Love that.
Love that for you.
Love that for you.
me.
Love that.
It's one more win than
Well,
I
at least
have.
the Canucks will be. Never mind. Fire me into the sun.
Nope. Yep. Don't even bring that one up. I think going into summer break though, I mean, or at least coming out of it, I think you're gonna watch Formula One in general, just kind of turn up the heat on like the whole Lando v Oscar thing. Like they're gonna set this up like it's Nico Lewis. Like this is Max versus Lewis. Like this is like, all right, here's our title contenders for the next 10 weeks. It's gonna be fully focusing on these two. And I think a lot of pressure is going to be added to these guys because they are going to be in the final stretch as we say goodbye to Katie one more time.
I'm glad you're updating this. We could just proceed. Oh, there she is! Oh, you just missed it! Ah, she came back! Katie, no! Why did you leave? Oh, no. It was perfect.
2 weeks in a row.
Oh,
2 weeks in a row.
She's looking again. She's looking repeatedly. She's still looking. Now I feel like I'm in the zoo.
I can't make this up.
Sean, you must be really attractive from the back of your head there. I mean, she held that stare in for a while. Wow.
That was a linger. I would consider that a linger.
Linger, man. Linger.
Anyway, back to the summer break. So that's where I see things like shaping up when we come out of the summer break. Going into it, I mean, we need some more just, I don't know, we need answers from Ferrari. Like, what is going on there? What is going on at Red Bull? Because like you said, even this time around, it's been like Max Verstappen just, carrying that team on his back. And now he's finishing P9. Like you said, Liam Lawson got kicked out of Red Bull. Now he's back in a Racing Bull, and he beat not just a Red Bull, but the Red Bull. I don't think that this is, a bad look necessarily on Yuki. I mean, it is, but like clearly that Red Bull is undrivable to anybody not named Max Verstappen, and it is now becoming undrivable for Max Verstappen. In fact, he called the car undrivable during the Hungarian Grand Prix. So Red Bull's got to figure their stuff out. Ferrari's got to figure their stuff out. If I'm Red Bull also, I mean, you just fired your team principal. You're not going to win either the team or drivers' championship. Start focusing. You don't have Adrian Newey anymore. Start focusing on 2026. Like full
I
on.
agree.
If there's a
nothing
team
to win
that
here.
needs to focus on 2026 solely, it is Red Bull.
Yeah, they need a reset.
Absolutely Red Bull.
Fired their team principal, lost their technical director. All they have left in their power regime is Helmut Marko, which is a nightmare. At least they kept Max. That's cool. That's one step away from being a worse disaster. So, yeah, I agree. Frankly, Sean, I feel like the summer break, I'm ready to transition into a break. And by that, I mean I'm ready to transition to the NFL. What about you?
I am ready to switch gears. Let's go to the NFL week 2 of our division previews. Last week we did the NFC and AFC South. This week we are going to do the NFC and AFC North. Let's start
North, West.
Sorry. West. I thought you said West.
Northwest. Also a human's name.
We're going to go northwest of where I'm currently living in Tampa, Florida, to the NFC West.
Oh, there you go. Nice recovery. Yeah. That was pretty good.
Thank you. Dude, I've been broadcasting since 4 o'clock this afternoon, so my brain is all frazzled. Let's start in the NFC. You good with that?
Absolutely.
Cool. So how we're going to do this, just like we did last week, and you can chime along in the chat as well. We are going to kind of just each give our division picks where we think the rankings will stack up, where the teams will go in the division. Nick, let's start with you. You're our resident NFL.com talent writer. So give us your picks for the NFC West.
Well, first I have to tip of the cap and pour one out for the death of the Sean Barie sports book.
Yes.
I miss you already.
Thanks a lot, Emmanuel Classe.
Yeah, I miss you already.
Luis Ortiz.
Yeah. NFC West. I have the Rams winning this division. Now, I think
Shocker.
that there is legitimate concern regarding Matthew Stafford's back. He has not been a participant for a while. They've kind of just glossed over this fact. And there's concern to me because if you don't have Matthew Stafford, you have Jimmy Garoppolo, which lowers your ceiling significantly. However, I will buy into the idea that he's going to be okay for now. And if he's okay, they are going to win 11 games, Sean. That's what I think that the Rams are going to do in 2025. They're going to go 11-6. Then I have some surprises. This is going to be one of the more competitive divisions in football, but there's going to be a bit of a mid-off beneath the Rams.
Okay. I think you and I are going in the same direction here, actually.
Okay. I have the Arizona Cardinals going 9-8, taking another step forward under Jonathan Gannon, and Kyler Murray giving them reason to reinvest in him beyond this year. Now, it's not that he's not under contract, but it's a bit of a pivotal year for Kyler Murray because they just haven't, he was injured 2 years ago and came back late. And then, last year it was like, oh, we can see how good they could be. And they were in the running for a while and then kind of fell apart down the stretch, which is what the Cardinals have done for most of the last half decade. I got them going 9-8, potentially making the playoffs. Behind them, the Sam Darnold Seahawks at 8-9, because I don't think Sam Darnold can replicate what he did in Minnesota this year, mainly because I don't think the Seahawks offensive line is good enough. And that's one of the most overlooked weaknesses in the NFL across all 32 teams, is the fact that their line sucked. And they acquired Sam Darnold after trading Geno Smith with the idea that they're going to change their offense, quarterback with the back to the line of scrimmage, a bit of play action, stuff like that. Except you need to be able to block for play action to work. So I am concerned about that for them overall. I do think their defense will be better. They have the defensive-minded head coach. They have talent on that side of the ball. But ultimately, they will fall short of a winning record. And last but not least, tied at the bottom of the NFC West is the San Francisco 49ers, a team that a lot of people give a little bit too much respect and just chalk up last year's struggles to injury. And yes, injury was an issue, but roster turnover is also an issue. And a lot of faces came and went from that team over the last year. You paid Brock Purdy, you traded Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey trying to come back from injury. You have some changes up front. Defensively, you lost a lot of key contributors and household names. Talanoa Hufunga's gone. Dre Greenlaw's gone. So they reinvest in their defensive line with some draft picks. I just think it's a transitional year for them, and ultimately they don't finish over 500. So that's how I see the whole division stacking up, and that's why.
Nick, I hate you so much. So freaking much. Because I literally went chalk for exactly what you said.
Records too?
Records too.
Yes.
Now everyone's going to be like, now I honestly take this as a compliment, because I think, hey, maybe I got Nick here because I actually have the Cardinals going 9-8. No, apparently, but I take that as a good note, because you actually cover the NFL for a living, whereas I cover one team in the NFL and then just eat up the rest of my time watching the NFL. So I have got the Rams at 11-6. Like you said, yes, Matthew Stafford's back might be an issue, but in order to make these predictions, I kind of just have to pick one way or the other. Is he going to be healthy? Is he not going to be healthy? I'm going to say he's going to be healthy, so I'm going 11-6. You add Devontae Adams, I think this team could definitely make a run. Then I've got the Cardinals at 9-8. Good defense, not great. Let's see.
A lot of investment there. A lot of investment.
Let's see what Kyler Murray can do. At the same time, they have a pretty easy start to their schedule, and then a pretty tough stretch to end it. So they're going to have, kind of like the Steelers last year, they're going to have to get a lot of work and a lot of wins done earlier in the season, because that second half of the schedule gets a little tough down the stretch. Then I've got the Seahawks at 8-9. We saw an amazing turnaround from Sam Darnold last year in Minnesota. And then towards the end of the year, he kind of turned back into a pumpkin. I think he stays a pumpkin in Seattle. Cooper Kupp for DK Metcalf, not exactly, a equal trade, from in terms of wide receiver talent at this point in their careers. And then I have the Niners also at 8-9. I think they'll do better than last year, because they're going in. I mean, yes, a lot of those losses last year were injury inflicted, but at the same time, you still aren't going to have Brandon Ayuk for a very long time, maybe the entire season. You don't have Deebo anymore. How healthy is Christian McCaffrey going to be, and can he stay healthy, because injuries have always been an issue with him. You're going to lean a lot on Brock Purdy, and we've seen what happens when you lean on him. And then, there's a lot of turnover on the defensive side of the ball, which means you're going to rely on Nick Bosa a lot. And while he's a great player, I mean, where exactly is this team going to be this year? I got him at 8-9. Katie's back. Let's get her
for now.
NFC West previews.
I might have 20 seconds. So I have the Rams leading the division, 11-6. They gave the Eagles the hardest time in the playoff last year. Quiet off season, but they didn't need to make a ton of changes. A lot of it depends on the health of Matthew Stafford, as you guys were saying. Cardinals, I have 9-8. I think they're getting better under Jonathan Gannon. I don't know. I like
keep going. I know. Just keep going. You're chalk with us through two teams so far. Dead on
their
record
off season. They didn't lose a ton of guys. They bring in Josh Sweat. 49ers, I have 8-9.
Oh God.
They lost 17 players, 11 of which were starters. That scares me. I think this could be a team that they are worse than their record suggests, because they open up with 4 non-playoff teams and then they finish with 7 non-playoff teams. So they might be in the 9 and 8, 10 and 7 range, but won't actually be that good and wouldn't go very far in the playoffs. Seahawks, I have 9 and 8, potentially 8 and 9, because this one I would have gone 8 and 8 in different circumstances, because I just don't know. As I said in the YouTube chat, it's all fun and games being a member of the Sam Darnold Hive until he's leading your team, because all of a sudden that feels way less fun. So that is my I cannot believe I've been here for more than 1 minute. This is crazy.
It's amazing.
But that is my very
and your video's clear too.
Yeah, your science fair project with your potato is actually holding up really well right now.
I love this for us. Anyways,
Actually,
that is
guys,
my very quick read on the NFC West.
So we're pretty much all going for chalk, Nick. It's like you said, you got the Rams at the top. They're the best team in the division, and then there's kind of like a mid-off. Honestly, any of these teams, I could see them going 8 and 9, 9 and 8. Maybe someone squeaks out a win and gets to 10 and 7. It maybe makes the playoffs.
But
it's going to be an interesting year for this division.
Here's the issue,
the Rams
Sean.
got it.
When you make predictions like this and everybody's chalk, that's usually when it sets up for a shocking team to emerge from the pack. And
100%. It's like College Game Day when they all pick the same team. You all see the same logo at the bottom of the screen. It's like, well, that team's losing tonight.
Yep, exactly. And if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think that's going to be the shocking team out of this division, as crazy as it sounds.
I love that.
If there was a team, I don't think that the Niners or the Seahawks are going to shock me. But yeah, if someone could jump up and grab a couple of extra wins, I think you're right. It could be the Cardinals. Let's move on over to the AFC West. The West? The AFC West?
The AFC West.
Katie, since you're still here, let's go. AFC West.
Clear than clear, Sail. Let's go.
Please. The runway is clear. Go for it.
I don't think the Chiefs win the division this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be the Broncos or the Chargers, but I think it could be either of those. I have both those teams going 11 and 6.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's
Chiefs,
insane. I'm going to start with the
big step
Broncos.
back.
So they obviously have a really crazy good defense, and that's getting a lot of love. I'm not hearing as much people talk about how good their offensive line is. Like, I feel like when I look at their roster, they're set up really well, and then you have another year of Sean Payton and Bo Nix, and I just feel like it's all starting to really come together for them. They were fun to watch last year. The Chargers. I'm so excited to watch them this year. I am a Jim Harbaugh hater. Most people that know me well know that about me, but he's built a culture there that people seem to have really bought into. They're going to run the hell out of the ball. They have their running back situation set. They have their offensive tackle set. They lost some guys on defense, but their roster still looks really good. And you have Justin Herbert, but I don't love their wide receivers as much, but it feels like Herbert isn't going to be like the star of the show, which I wish he was in a setting where he was. I wish he wasn't in a Jim Harbaugh system where they're going to be running the ball and where they had like I wish he was in Joe Burrow's situation, because I feel like he could play just as well. The Chiefs, I think they could get out to like a sneaky slow start. Like, they go to Brazil, and then at Arrowhead, they have the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Lions for their first 3 home games. And I don't trust their offensive line whatsoever. And I start to look at last year of, like, they look like trash garbage in the Super Bowl, obviously. But all of the games where they won by one possession, it was in the last, 3 seconds in the game. Like, I feel like eventually it has to turn. And we're always saying, I'll believe it when I see it, but it's like, man, I'm just going to keep saying this every year, and then one time I'll sound really smart when they don't actually win the division. So the Raiders...
Playing the futures bet.
The Raiders I have at 5 and 12. At least there's reason to watch them. Geno Smith, I obviously love. Uncle Pete, he's back. I love that. Ashton Genty and year 2 of Brock Bowers, there are things that are exciting on that team. I just don't think they're good enough. And they're in a really tough division.
All right. I agree with you, Katie. You know, this all has to turn around for the Chiefs at some point, right? But I'm a coward, so I'm not going to bet against them this year, because they can't keep getting away with this, and then they keep getting away with this. I do agree with you. They could have a sneaky slow start to the season. I saw that schedule and went, ooh, I don't know if they're better than these teams. Could they beat one of them? Sure, because Philly likes to get out to slow starts too. But at the same time, they could easily start the season with 3 losses in the first first 8 weeks, and you're thinking I don't know, is this the same team? I've got them going 12 and 5. They won 15 games last year. You don't go from 15 to winning. What did you have the record at?
That was such frauds that they weren't that good last year. That's a fraud record.
I've got them at 12 and 5 this year. They're
I have
not
10
going to win
and 7
15.
and almost want to say 9 and 8.
You do you. I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I'm just not going to do it because I've tried to do that many times before.
Just trying to be controversial. Just
Yeah, you
are.
Look, I have learned my lesson. Okay, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. They
I'm
improved
literally
their
hearing
O-line a little
alarms.
bit.
The police are coming for me after this.
Seriously,
That potato is illegal.
the NFL Referees Association is like, she's right there. Get her. Get her.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
They improved their O-line a little bit. I want to see how much Travis Kelce has left in the tank. I think he wants to go out on top of the ring. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this probably could be his last season, but I still have them winning this division at 12-5 because they are still the Kansas City Chiefs. They do still have Patrick Mahomes. They do still have Andy Reid. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to bet against them. I wanted to bet against the Patriots for all those years, and they kept doing it over and over and over again until Tom Brady left. So if Patrick Mahomes is there, if Andy Reid is there, I'm going to put them in at 12 wins easily. Then I've got the Broncos at 10-7. They've got a pretty tough last, 6-7 weeks. I want to see Bo Nix step up a little bit. He was getting better, obviously, in the second half of the season. Year number 2 in that Sean Payton system. I think that could be really good for him. And yes, they have the best defense in the NFL. But for some reason, I just got them at 10-7. Then I've got the Chargers at 9-8. Yeah, they're going to run the ball a lot. One of their running backs might only have one eye. It's possible. He might only have one eyeball. But, depth perception being what it is, let's see what Najee Harris can do. I'm kind of starting to go, at Justin Herbert a little bit. Not that,
On this podcast?
Not that he can't get the Chargers there, just that, he hasn't. So I'm starting to kind of go, on Justin Herbert a little bit. And then I've got the Raiders.
On Sean Barie a little bit.
Oh, there it is.
Fine. That's just fine. I've got the Raiders at 7-10. They won 5 games last year with hot garbage at quarterback and hot garbage at head coach. I'm going with 7-10 because at the very least, I think we can agree that Geno Smith is better than Gardner Minshew and Nate O'Connell, and that Pete Carroll is a step up in head coach as well. So at the very least, I will give them 2 more wins, and that gets them to 7-10. They're at least better. They're not as bad as they were last year, so I'll give them a couple more wins.
You guys both make great points. I am going to push back Katie on the Chiefs' demise, and mainly because
because you're paid by the NFL to do so, Nick.
Oh, the scriptwriters already said.
Who signed your check, Nick? The NFL. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I
Sean,
see you. I see you.
Let's get some conspiracy theories going.
Let's see how much longer
We started
that
off this podcast by saying we were going to fact check, and now we're like, yeah, let's do conspiracy
Oh,
theories.
by the way, Budapest was indeed 2 different cities. I looked it up.
Come for me. Come on.
Phrasing. All right. The Chiefs' offensive line. Not as concerning as you'd think. And the reason is that last year, as Sean fights his laughter, they didn't have the resources to really fix everything. They tried to patch the dam with bubblegum and Scotch tape, but it didn't work. And we saw what happened. They got all the way to the Super Bowl, and then that line crumbled. But I have to commend them because for their swings and misses, they responded with hits. Josh Simmons, their first-round pick out of Ohio State, was probably the best tackle in the class and got hurt midway through the college season last year, and that tanked his value. He, according to all reports out of camp, looks excellent and has that left tackle spot locked down. That fixes that problem. Your left guard position becomes a bit of a concern because you have a battle there among a number of different guys, primarily Kingsley Suamataia, who was supposed to be their left tackle last year, but anybody with 2 working eyes who understands football, myself included, could tell you he's too slow to play tackle. He's going to try to play guard, but he's battling with Mike Caliendo for that job. Creed Humphrey, one of the best centers in the NFL. You got that figured out. Trey Smith just got paid, one of the better guards in the NFL. Right tackle, a bit of a concern. Jawan Taylor probably overpaid for the position, but they went out and gave Jalen Moore, a guy who'd never consistently started over a whole season, $15 million a year. When they signed him, we all thought, oh, that's their left tackle. Turns out he's competing for the right tackle job. So they have depth. They have options. And that's what you need when you go into a season. You need that sort of depth. So I'm not concerned about their offense. And frankly, I think they'll be better than they were last year. A lot of this familiar characters at receiver. Rashee Rice is coming back from injury. Hollywood Brown is actually returning from an injury right now. Juju is on that team again. maybe a lack of depth of the position, but I'm not really worried about it. Where I'm worried about the Chiefs is their secondary. They lack depth back there. And this has been the other area that they've been cutting corners at while paying different guys to stay with the team. It's hard to stay competitive in the NFL. And this is the first time I look at their secondary and think, Justin Herbert makes you go, Well, Chiefs secondary makes me go, And as much as I don't like to be a pretentiously curious individual just going, shallow and pedantic, I am concerned about this secondary. Having said that, I have them winning 13 games and winning the division again because they've run this division, and until they don't, I am going to continue to pick them. The Chargers are going to be right on their tails this entire season, and it's because they're so well coached. They look like a professional outfit. Yes. I watched them at the Hall of Fame game, and I was like, their offensive line's not firing off the ball in sync, and yet they still outperform the Lions basically in every facet of the game. I don't care about Trey Lance. Justin Herbert is their starter. I don't really care about backup quarterback situations right now unless it pertains to me writing about training camp buzz.
Guys, did you know Teddy Bridgewater signed with the Bucs?
Oh my God. No way. Teddy Two Gloves is back in the NFL. It's more about their trench play. They are so tough on the interior, on both sides of the ball.
Jim Harbaugh really is just building a Michigan-style team in LA, isn't he?
They're just going to try to man-ball people. They're just going to win the physical battle.
Phrasing.
That's nowhere near as bad as what you said.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, my God, it just went full bore right into it, which I guess you could say phrasing there as well. Their defense has some studs. They got some dogs. Diane Henley was a guy who emerged last year as a key linebacker. He's back there in the interior of the linebacking unit. Interesting situation. Denzel Perryman got arrested, and they didn't file any charges, so I think he'll be with the team and playing. But the guy behind him, Junior Colson, was a draft pick from Michigan. He was one of the Harbaugh players at Michigan who has not lived up to expectation. And frankly, I'm not really encouraged by, at least by what I saw in the Hall of Fame game from him, to think that he's going to become that guy. The rest of their defense, though, I like their depth. I like their options there. Tony Jefferson is back from retirement for another year in that secondary. I like what they bring to the table, and I just like their identity. I think they're going to be a very competitive team. And by the way, they have Justin Herbert at quarterback. So if they have to throw the ball, receiver is concerning. Sean.
You mean Keenan Allen isn't patching up every single issue?
I do like that they brought him back. That definitely helps out the situation they were dealing with. Keep an eye on Trey Harris and on Keandre Lambert-Smith for depth options at receiver. I have them winning 12 games, going 12-5. Denver 11-6. And remember when I said I think I oversold on some teams? This is one of the divisions I oversold on because there's no way this many teams win this many games. Like I think mathematically,
I think I put the Broncos conservatively at like 10-7. I'm like, they could win more, but I'm choosing not to believe yet.
Yeah, mathematically, I think this is like impossible. But like I said, I filed these over a month ago, so we're just going to roll with it. I have the Broncos at 11-6, right behind Kansas City and the Chargers, for all the reasons that you just stated. I think their defense has the makings of one of the best in the NFL. I like their receiving core. All those guys have proven themselves over the last year or more. Evan Ingram, I think, was a great addition at tight end for them. He had a really nice year in Jacksonville a couple of years ago, a bit of a step back last year, and their offensive line's solid. And Bo Nix, year 2, Sean Payton knows how to use him. So I think they have a ton of potential, and they'll be back in the playoffs again this year. Part of me, like, at my core, and I don't know if it's because they're the Broncos or because of Sean Payton, or it's not because of Bo Nix, wants to be skeptical with them, and I just can't find a logical reason to be skeptical, so that's why we go with 11-6 for them. And then the Raiders, this is where the math really doesn't make sense. I have the Raiders winning 8 games, and I could see them more like 7 wins, but they're going to be worth watching, which is more than we could say about them over the last few years. Everything you already explained. I don't have to go into it. Pete Carroll's on the side. Pete Carroll's like 73. He's just going to coach until he's
over 50.
He's just going to coach until he dies, or he's going to coach till he's like 100. I don't know.
You guys think Pete Carroll, like in his downtime, is just like on the strip at the penny slots, chewing a big old wad of bubble gum and just like, cranking the arm, playing little penny slots?
I hope so. He's earned it.
Yeah, right?
I love that.
Isn't that like the quintessential retiree thing to do? Like, what do you do?
I feel like Pete Carroll.
I coach the Raiders. Oh, there's a football team in Las Vegas? Yeah, we got uniforms and everything.
See that big building down there? That's ours. I feel like Pete Carroll's a toothpick guy. Like an after-dinner toothpick, walk out of the restaurant, like maybe flipping a coin on his finger, that sort of guy. Yeah.
Exactly.
We met in their home, Nick. That's where we met in person was.
We did. You're right. What a beautiful moment that was.
Thank you, Raiders, for hosting
I'll always
us.
cherish it. Yes.
Sorry, guys. Do you need me to, I'm in the middle of
Sean,
this
we invited
conversation
you.
with
We've gone
Becca.
over this so many times.
I know.
We peer pressured you to go to Vegas.
You really did peer pressure me to go to Vegas, but my rent was insanely expensive at the time, and I couldn't even really afford my rent. So I was like, should I buy this $900 round trip plane flight for 2 days in Vegas? Probably not the sensible thing to do. I know. Next time, guys. Next time. All right, those are our previews of the AFC and NFC West. Guys, how about next week we really mix things up and do the North divisions?
Oh, we're moving around the compass. Cardinal directions.
Let's get right into the meat and potatoes of it, because in the North divisions, we eat a lot of meat and potatoes.
Those divisions are so good.
They are so good. God, I can't wait for that.
I mean, so is the steak. I'm just sitting here thinking, when is there going to be a next time? I don't know. We've talked about it now for like a year and a half. The wait continues.
The wait continues.
Meat and potatoes brought to you by Katie's Potato Computer. Shout out to that potato for making it through the back half of the show.
I can't believe this. Well, this is
We told you to reboot your computer, do the old Nick Shook thing. Oh, sorry, guys, I got to reboot my computer, go take a shower, walk my dog, take the trash out, but I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Sean, had I done that,
okay,
this pod would have gone so much smoother.
You know what? It was kind of funny, though, because you missed the perfect moment when the janitor was in the window again. We'll post that short again. But you missed that. You jumped out at the exact moment, and I would describe her as a lingerer this time. I saw her in the background, so I moved over, just maybe she would pop her head in, and I mean, her head was in there for her head was in the window for just staring at Nick and I. Nick was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a zoo animal now.
Unbelievable. I can't believe I missed this.
Magic. It was magic. Next time on the Sean and Shook, the Gridiron podcast. Katie will have her systems fixed. We'll break down the AFC and NFC North divisions, and we're not really going to talk much F1 because it's going to be on summer break, so we're going to take a little bit of break from F1, but we will see you next time on the Gridiron Podcast for episode 78. As always, thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, share us with your friends. You can find us on social media. We are on Instagram. Just search @GridironPod. That's on IG @GridironPod. Then you can email us because we're old school. You can email us at thegridironpodcast3, the number 3. That's thegridironpodcast3. Damn those other two. @gmail.com. We do love hearing from you. Guys, any parting comments, concerns, questions?
We're ending already? I just got here.
Well, Katie, sorry, I already ate all the hors d'oeuvres before you showed up, so.
That's it for me. That's all for me, guys.
Right.
Nothing else.
Until next time. Until next time, for Katie Caldwell and Nick Shook, I'm Sean Barie. As always, folks, live life in the fast lane.
Light day at work for Katie.
Good night, Canada.